Hi everyone, and thanks for coming back to my channel. Today I thought I'd tell you guys something that I wish I knew before getting my ears stretched. I've had my ears stretched for the better part of 15 years now, and I wish someone had told me all of these things so that I would know to expect it and know that it was totally normal and that it happened to other people. Number one is that it takes a long time. Now, you can totally go and just have someone, cut out a section of your ear and be done with it. But generally speaking, if you want your ears to be able to go back to normal at least, then you're going to want to do it really, really slowly. So that means you stretch it a gauge or two, wait a little bit, maybe a month, depends on how long it takes for that to loosen up, and then you go in and stretch again and again. And this is not only time consuming, but it is income consuming. So every time you go in, you have to pay your piercer and you have to pay for new jewelry. Now think about how that racks up. So before you do it, just make sure that you have an end game in sight and that you know how much it's going to cost you before you get into it. Also, you want to make sure that you're taking time with this process because you can very easily tear your earlobe. So I did a lot of this by myself until I got above 00. At that point, I had someone else do it for me. So the big thing that I find people are surprised by is the fact that when you have more surface area connecting to metal or wood or some other type of material, you can get all sorts of bacteria and skin cells and other things kind of getting in between your skin and the material of whatever you have in your ear. And that stuff builds up quickly and it stinks. It smells horrible. So you have to wash your ears every single day. But the big thing is people expect it to be like a normal piercing. Normal piercings, you don't really have to clean that often because it's just a very small amount of skin that is surrounding the piercing. So not a whole lot can get caught in it. But if you'll notice, other people complain about their piercings smelling bad even when they're just studs. So you have to understand that with a larger surface area touching your jewelry, it's going to get smellier, and you have to be prepared for that and make sure you're washing yourself every single day. Well, at least your ear. I don't care what you do with the rest of your body, but every single day, and then wash your jewelry every single day too. Number 3 is that your ears become incredibly susceptible to heat and cold. So everyone talks about this in the winter, like especially if you're in a really cold climate. I lived in Chicago for a really long time. If you're living in a cold climate, your lips and your face and even like around your nose will start to feel so dry that sometimes it cracks. Now, this happens even more so on your ears. And also if you're wearing some sort of metal or even just a normal tunnel, you're gonna get a lot of cold built up into that tunnel or that metal. You always have to think about how you're going to treat your ears. Are you going to wear a hoodie that covers your ears? Are you going to wear earmuffs? In the summer, are you making sure that you're putting moisturizer on your ears? Like, this stuff becomes important. Number 4, you have to be careful about what you put in your ears. You can't just get any old cheap jewelry and think that your ears aren't going to react to it, especially if you have sensitive skin. So the best thing for people to get is not stainless steel, but implant grade steel. Stainless steel, I find even for my ears, they will swell up immediately and almost feel like they're infected. So they get like red and swollen and they start to like ooze, and that's not cute. So you should really consider what kind of materials you're putting in your body and make sure that they're high quality and that your body can tolerate them. And number 5 is just that at a certain size, this becomes a permanent decision unless you choose to go to a doctor and have him cut off a portion of your ear and sew it all back together. So you really need to make sure that you want this for the long term, which is why I always advocate people going really, really slowly when they stretch their ears, or really when they get any sort of stretch piercing. Go really slowly and really think about how it's affecting your life. If it's affecting your life, you might not really have an issue with it, like most of the people that, get their ears stretched, but it is something to consider, like what size do you really like, and would you want to go up a size, or are you really comfortable with the size you're at now? Because up to 00, you can pretty much go back to normal if you just take out your piercings and let them tighten up on their own. But past that, you're really getting into a territory where your ears are just not going to go back to normal, and you're going to have someone take care of it for you. So if you don't want the hassle, the best way to do this is just to go really slowly and to consider what you really like. You might be comfortable with a much smaller size than you anticipated, and that's fine. Like, you're not getting any cool points for going up really, really high. So just take your time and think about it. And the last thing is just that people stop you and talk to you about your ears, and they always want to know. People are always curious, especially older people and children. So if you're not about that life, if you're not about talking to strangers, then you might want to consider not getting these, because people are going to be attracted to them, and people are going to want to know, like, why did you do it, and how long did it take, and did it hurt? And these are all questions that seem kind of ridiculous. Like, A, I did them because I wanted to, like anyone makes any decision. B, it took a while, and C, of course it hurt. Like, look at it. Of course it hurt. That's a stupid question. But people will ask, and, there's no reason to be shitty to them. Just think about the fact that you're going to have to approach that situation, and it's going to happen a lot more than you think it will. I promise you that. So you just have to be prepared that people are going to ask you about it, that people are going to want to know about your story, and they're going to think that you had some giant, existential awakening that led you to getting your ears stretched, when really it's just like, I thought it looked cool. It's a little bit annoying, but it's something that you need to consider before you get things that people can see. So that's all I've got for you today. What about you guys? What did you find happened when you got a body modification that you didn't know would happen and that you were kind of surprised by? Go ahead and leave that in the comments. If you like this, hit the thumbs up button, and if you really liked it, hit the subscribe button. And you can follow me elsewhere on the internet on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all of that. Just follow OJolieXOX. I'll see you next time. Mwah.